Hello everyone, my name is Cherie. In this video, I'll share with you what I watched in the month of December. Starting with the series, The Unanswered Question, 6 Talks at Harvard by Leonard Bernstein in 1973. This was a DVD set that I received a decade ago. It was a slog to get through. While Bernstein was undoubtedly a musical genius, here he comes off as a pompous and pretentious schoolmaster. I watched the first few episodes, then put it aside, only finishing it in December as preparation for Bradley Cooper's new movie Maestro. If you want a good Leonard Bernstein series, watch the Young People's Concerts. They're much more entertaining. Next are the shorts. Le Arroseur Arrosé, aka The Sprinkler Sprinkled from 1895. I remember watching this one-joke film in my history of cinema class. A Nightmare from 1896, a Méliès special effects short, which was probably the first "it was all just a dream" film. Le Manoir du Diable, aka The House of the Devil, also from 1896, another Méliès special effects short. Suspense from 1913 by America's first female director, Lois Weber. This film is generally regarded as the first to use the split screen technique. La Folie du Docteur Tube, aka The Madness of Dr. Tube from 1915. Funhouse mirror reflections give this movie a druggy feel. Disney's The Goddess of Spring from 1934. A charming 9-minute version of the story of Persephone and Pluto. And Dancing Man, released this year from director and fellow YouTuber Dylan Anglin. Shot on an iPhone 14 Pro, the story follows a man who gets more than he wished for on Christmas. And now, on to the features. The Adventures of Tintin from 2011. Intrepid reporter Tintin hunts for sunken treasure with the help of his dog and a sea captain. So December was Steven Spielberg month. I watched 8 of his films in an effort to understand character blocking and camera movement while I was drawing storyboards for my own indie feature. I found Tintin charming, a really good old-timey action-adventure movie. Great for a family movie night. Anatomy of a Fall came out this year and is receiving lots of awards show buzz. A woman is suspected of her husband's murder, and her blind son is the sole witness. The dialogue switches around from English to German and French. Beautiful scenery, good solid filmmaking, but it's not a movie I'd be excited to watch again. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom was released Christmas weekend. The King of Atlantis must work with his half-brother to prevent Black Manta from using a cursed trident to overheat the world. I loved the first Aquaman film, but not this one. The script and CGI were weak. It seems like the Mera scenes with Amber Heard were chopped up, much to the detriment of the film. There were some effective horror elements, and Jason Momoa was as charming as ever, but in general, I think origin stories on the whole are more compelling than sequels. BlackBerry, also from this year, shows the meteoric rise and catastrophic demise of the world's first smartphone. Wow, this was so stressful for me to watch. BlackBerry is an accurate depiction of startup life during the tech boom. I know, I was there. After watching, I felt like I had PTSD. This is not a comedy as advertised, but a docudrama. As far as the story goes, it would have been nice to see more scenes of the phone's success. Top officials in the US government used BlackBerries. People were really upset when the phones were decommissioned. Showing all these things would have made the downfall more devastating. Blank Check from 1994 is a movie I forgot I had already seen. A young boy inadvertently gains possession of a check for $1 million and proceeds to spend it all. This is best known for being co-written by Save the Cat author Blake Snyder. The first act was really difficult to watch. Cheesy acting, unrealistic characters and dialogue. I enjoyed the fun and games section, as well as Karen Duffy, who played an undercover FBI agent. Other than that, it's just meh. Brassed Off from 1996 is based on a true story. Miners from a northern England town lose their quarry, but find unity in their brass band. This was on my list of films about unions, but it's really more focused on music than on union activities. Watching it in today's climate is really interesting because I feel bad for the miners, but I also hate that their industry is digging for coal, which hurts the environment. However, it's a charming film with great performances by Ewan McGregor, Tara Fitzgerald, and Pete Postlethwaite. Bridge of Spies, released in 2015, is also based on a true story. During the Cold War, an American lawyer must defend an arrested Soviet spy in court and then help facilitate his exchange for an American spy. Tom Hanks and Mark Rylance give great performances. Spielberg directs beautifully. It's really good, if a little long. Casablanca, the classic from 1942. A cynical expatriate American cafe owner must decide whether or not to help his former lover and her fugitive husband escape the Nazis in French Morocco. So I purchased the DVD at the local library sale for $1. $1. And although I wasn't planning on watching it in December, a popular booktuber named Jack Edwards mentioned in one of his videos that he hadn't seen Casablanca, and this made me want to revisit it immediately. Casablanca is Hollywood studio system filmmaking at its best. I was crying practically throughout the entire runtime. Chef's kiss. Elemental, released this year. In a city where fire, water, land, and air residents live together, a fiery young woman and a go-with-the-flow guy discover something elemental. How much they actually have in common. Not one of Pixar's best scripts, but charming nonetheless. Good family entertainment. The Fanatic is a 2019 widely panned film starring John Travolta. A rabid film fan stalks his favorite action hero and destroys the star's life. Now, based on John Travolta's character, this was real to me. He plays one of those people who dresses up on Hollywood Boulevard trying to get money for photos. When I lived 2 blocks off of Hollywood Boulevard, I would pass by these people all day on my way to work or to the subway. Spider-Man even lived in my apartment complex. So I kind of really enjoyed watching this movie. It's not for everyone, but it was definitely for me. How Green Was My Valley was released in 1941. At the turn of the century, in a Welsh mining village, 2 parents raise coal mining sons and hope their youngest will find a better life. This was also on my union list because it contained a union strike. I'd already seen it before, but couldn't remember much about it. My second watch confirmed why. It's so boring. The interior mine shots at the end are okay, but most of it looked like a stage play. And the worst part about it? How Green Was My Valley beat Citizen Kane for Best Picture. Shameful. Jurassic Park is Steven Spielberg's 1993 masterpiece. A paleontologist touring a dinosaur theme park must protect 2 young siblings from the park's cloned dinosaurs who are running amok. This is based on Michael Crichton's Page Turner and is kind of reminiscent of his Westworld story. Both are great. I remember seeing Jurassic Park at a secret screening and being blown away by the realistic-looking dinosaurs. It still holds up to this day. Lapses from 2020. Struggling to support himself and his ailing younger brother, a man takes a job in a strange new realm of the gig economy, pulling miles of cable into the forest. I almost loved this, except for the WTF ending. It's like they ran out of money to shoot and wrapped everything up really fast and just left it on a cliffhanger. It's a great concept that touches on Ponzi schemes, unions, and strikes. The main character's ultimate dilemma is to either help his fellow workers or to get rich and get out. So regardless of the ending, I'll probably rewatch this, as I did find it really interesting. Leave the World Behind was released in 2023 and also has a kind of abrupt ending. A family's getaway to a luxurious rental home takes an ominous turn when a cyber attack knocks out their devices and 2 strangers appear at their door. The film stars Julia Roberts, Mahershala Ali, Ethan Hawke, and Kevin Bacon. I have a soft spot for apocalyptic and post-apocalyptic films, and I really enjoyed this one. The scene with the Teslas was great. I think just like with Don't Look Up from a few years ago, Leave the World Behind might be one I watch over and over. Maestro, released this year, chronicles the relationship between conductor-composer Leonard Bernstein and actress Felicia Montealegre Cohn-Bernstein. A very powerful film, both uplifting and tragic. Great acting, great cinematography, great direction. Now that he's proven he can direct, I wish Bradley Cooper would make an upbeat, happy film, even a musical. Maestro won't be on my favorite slide at the end because I can't see myself rewatching it. It's too painful. But it is excellent, and you should see it. The Man Who Invented Christmas from 2017 depicts the journey that led to writer Charles Dickens' creation of A Christmas Carol. Initially, I thought it was just fine during the first half hour's setup, but then things really kicked in, and I found it to be a creative depiction of the writing process. By the end, I was in tears. This is a really charming film that I would recommend for family viewing on Christmas. May December released this year. 2 decades after their notorious tabloid romance gripped the nation, a married couple buckles under pressure when an actress arrives to do research for a film about their past. Many reviewers have put this on their top 10 list for 2023. It's not on mine. It's well crafted, but left me cold. I have no interest in watching it again. Newsies, the 1992 Disney musical starring Christian Bale. When publisher Joseph Pulitzer sets new rules that make it harder for young newspaper salesmen to earn a living, the boys go on strike. This is a standard Disney comfort movie. I watched it when I was 25 and didn't really enjoy it then. After this second viewing, I understood it better, having researched strikes and having lived in New York City, but this was probably my last watch. I didn't like its dull color palette, unmemorable songs, and lack of energetic camera movement in a musical. And Margaret was fun, though. The Post from 2017. Based on true events in 1971, the Washington Post races to catch up with the New York Times to expose a massive cover-up of government secrets that spans 4 decades and 4 U.S. presidents. Spielberg and Streep team up in this one, 2 masters of their craft. Unfortunately, it's not a great movie, but it's interesting enough. Potiche is a French film from 2010. When her husband is injured during a workplace strike, a trophy wife takes the reins of the family business and proves to be a remarkably effective leader. This takes place in 1977 and really gets the 70s vibes right. Catherine Deneuve is a joy to watch as the matriarch who must stand up against her conservative daughter and help out the employees at the plant. This was such a fun romp, I'll probably watch it again. The Prince of Egypt is DreamWorks animation from 1998. In this retelling of the Book of Exodus, Egyptian Prince Moses learns of his identity as a Hebrew and embarks on a quest to free his people from bondage. I thought the animation was outstanding, and I really enjoyed the film until the end. For some reason, the finale left me hollow. I wanted to see the celebrations of the Jewish people after escaping the Egyptians. This was skipped over, and the next shot, the last shot, was of Moses carrying the 10 Commandments, which, if you know the story, does not end well. I'm not sure why the filmmakers chose to end the film this way. Still, it's a solid work, and I would recommend it for family viewing. Princess Mononoke is a Studio Ghibli animation from 1997. On a journey to find the cure for a demon's curse, a young prince is thrust into the middle of a war between the forest gods and a mining colony. This is a stunning, environmentally themed epic. I put it right up there with Spirited Away as one of my favorite animated films of all time. Ready Player One from 2018. When the creator of a virtual world dies, a posthumous challenge is issued to find his Easter egg, which will give the finder his fortune and control of his world. I love video game movies. This is right up there with Free Guy and the Jumanji series for me. Another fun film from Steven Spielberg. Shazam! Fury of the Gods was released in 2023. When a vengeful trio of ancient gods arrives on Earth in search of the magic stolen from them long ago, Shazam and his allies get thrust into a battle for their superpowers, their lives, and the fate of the world. I'm split straight down the middle on this one. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. It was kind of forgettable, although it had an all-star cast of baddies. Saving Private Ryan from 1998. A group of U.S. soldiers go behind enemy lines to retrieve a paratrooper whose brothers have been killed in action. This famously lost the Best Picture Oscar to Shakespeare in Love, and I have to say, I'd rather revisit Shakespeare over Ryan. Yes, it's well crafted. I mean, it's a Spielberg film, but some of the dialogue was really misogynistic in places. and I began to feel the runtime at the 2-hour mark, and there were still 49 minutes to go. I doubt I'll be watching it again. Stoker came out in 2013. A young woman's world comes crashing down after her father dies, and a strange uncle whom she never knew existed appears on her family's doorstep. This is a modern-day Shadow of a Doubt, directed by Park Chan-wook of Oldboy and Decision to Leave fame, and written by Wentworth Miller, the star of Prison Break. I really enjoyed the ride on this one. It's not a horror, but more of a slow burn thriller. The Terminal from 2004 reteams director Steven Spielberg and actor Tom Hanks. An Eastern European tourist unexpectedly finds himself stranded in JFK Airport, where he takes up temporary residence. Based on a true story, this is a charming movie. There are occasional lapses in logic, but I really enjoyed Tom Hanks' physical comedy, which I hadn't seen since his bosom buddy days on TV. A definite recommend. Unrest released in 2022. In late 19th century Switzerland, a factory worker becomes involved with a local group of anarchist watchmakers. This was on my list of Union films to watch. Part of what the movie deals with is how conditions in the factories drove people to leftism. Great themes, boring film. War of the Worlds from 2005 is Steven Spielberg's remake of an alien invasion as seen through the eyes of one family fighting for survival. Okay, spoiler alert. The aliens die from Earth's bacteria, which is logical, but which doesn't make for a heroic ending. Tom Cruise plays against type as a reactive protagonist. Blah. Characters constantly do illogical things. Not a good film. And that was it. In summary, I watched 1 series, 7 shorts, and 29 features in December of 2023. The series and the shorts were new to me. 17 features were new to me, and 12 features were rewatches. I heart these ones the most. Thank you for joining me for my December wrap-up. Until next time, happy viewing.